All right, so expanding your reach, taking on challenges, stretching yourself. So this picture was taken, this is in Peru in 2012. And when I decided to go to Peru, I took 2 weeks of my vacation. So again, I was making good money. So I got bonuses like 30% of my salary, right? I was making 6 figures. So I took 2 weeks off. And I remember having to go to my boss, because I had already booked the trip to Peru. And then after the fact, I was going to ask for forgiveness. So I remember walking over to my boss's office and texting my friends, emailing them, this may not go so well, so I may not have a job after this, but I'm going to Peru anyways. So I go thinking that he's going to say, well, you can't go because we have, my job was also very vitally important. So if I was not there was a lot of subsequent things that would probably go wrong. So he was open to it. And I'm like, I could not believe that he said, okay, for 2 whole weeks. Like, most of the time in corporate America, if you take 2 weeks off, you don't have a job after, So I go to Peru, but before that, it's just part of strategizing. We'll talk about strategizing later. But this strategizing of like, okay, why am I going to go to Peru? I've never been to South America. I want to go to South America. So I researched where and how, right? So I don't have kids. So I'm not thinking that I'm going to be dealing with kids. That's like the worst thing that you would want me to do, right? No experience, like why would I do that? So I signed up for every possible volunteer thing to help adults, right? And that's what they told me I was doing before I went to Peru. So I go to Peru, and my assignment was to be a teaching assistant for a class of 30 kids. For 2 weeks. That's my vacation. 2 weeks. So the kids are 3 and 4 year olds. So it was funny to me. I'm like, God, really? How am I going to do this, right? Like, my nieces, they weren't even born then. In 2012, Ariana was, yes. Yeah, but you know how it is with me and the young kids. So I do awesome, but it's the taking care. As a mom, you get used to like changing the diapers, wiping up, and I just don't have that experience, right? So I'm like, why would somebody put me in the position to helping their kid feed and wipe up, But I learned that stuff while down there. Class of 30 kids. So with these class of 30 kids, what I did every single day for 2 weeks, I taught them English. They speak Spanish. So we did nursery rhymes, I bonded with them, played with their toys, but it was really like building them up. Then we had siesta moments. Siesta's big in South America. We should have siestas here in the United States. Let's vote for that. But here's the issues. So these kids were in a really rural community in Lima, Peru. It was Lima, people probably know because it's a big city there. But this village is actually called Villa El Salvador. In Villa El Salvador, I was sharing with somebody the other day, there's no trash pickup. Like, we get used to Tuesdays and Fridays trash pickup, right? But in some of these places, the trash is at the side of the street and you just burn it, right? That's how you get rid of it. But there are thousands of dogs in this community because they don't neuter dogs, right? So they just walk around and just regenerate, and more. There's a lot of them. There's a lot. But the kids, though, the point of this is that's the place this organization holds the kids throughout the day because the parents are busy and they have no other place to put them. So they take them in. And if the kids don't eat here, they probably won't eat that day. So little things that we don't really observe. So they're Latin and have different hair, but the hair color tints red, different color, depends on how the nutritional levels, right? So that's how you can tell a lot of them are malnourished. And it was so important for us to be able to feed them because they won't eat afterwards. So my task was to feed them at lunch. So we will line them up and take them to the cafeteria. And it was like the most awkward thing to feed kids because you would think they would want to eat. They don't want to eat. They want to play. They want to play with the food. So they prefer to take the spoon and the food goes here, there, and everywhere instead of their mouths. But we had to feed them. So it's very awkward to push food in a kid's mouth, but we had to do it. They told us to do it. So we actually had to force them to eat, right? And it was a short lunch, and nothing too extravagant, but it was their way of eating. But what the kids taught me, so my happy moments, so it was fear, right? Like, how am I going to do this? And I'll share some other stories too. Like, God puts you in these situations where it's not about you, right? It's right. It is about him. And also a test for yourself too, right? So how you can adapt to new situations, new surroundings, be open to that. Just answer the call. Like, shoot, I'm on stage right now. Right? And this morning, like, I'm not sure how this is going to go, but it's coming out. It's working. Right? So yeah. So this story is really about how I embraced that for 2 weeks, and then how that also sparked my whole journey of change.